Welcome back to Man Cave Models. Today we're going to cover chipping of the GMC. We're going to try and create like it'll be a two-tone way of doing it. So we will start off with like lighter olive drab, so it'll be slightly lighter than the coat that we have. And then we'll go back over the top of that with like a rustier colour, quite a dark rustier colour. When you do this, obviously you need to think to yourself areas that get a lot of use and wear, and areas that don't get a lot of use. So, you know, just for example, so look here, look, where you would be getting in and out, and around here would get a lot of wear. These footwells would get a lot of wear from the scuff off your boots. Top part of the ring there, that will probably get a lot of wear. You know, obviously you'll get chipping on the front bumpers. The back tailgate would get a fair bit of wear. Some of these corners would, but you know, and also we have the, to add it to the mix, that this rear cargo bay, some of this is metal and some of this is wood. So I think from there to there is a metal plate, looks like a metal tube, and it has a wooden beam, a flexible wooden beam that goes across there. All these side parts, which would be the seats as well, that's all wood. This bit down, there's a piece down, tip it, there's this bit down here, this is all wood. That's a little bits of metal. So really just look at it, the wheels would get chipped up quite well. Just take 5 minutes to have a look around your model light and decide where you think would get chipped a lot and where wouldn't. So let's sort of get started. Right, okay, so what we're going to be using is a pair of tweezers, obviously good paper towel to wipe your painting that off onto, something to mix your paint in, and the colours we're going to use for the first coat of chipping, which is going to be our olive drab that we use for the base coat, the dark yellow that we use for the base coat. We'll mix that to try and get a slightly lighter shade than what we've got. What you can do is, when you actually do your shading, is the mix that you got, mix it in an empty pot like that, one of your empty pots if you've got one. Keep it in there, put the lid back on, and then it's ready for if you want to do your chipping, which is probably what I should have done. There you go. Obviously, nice bit of water for keeping your stuff clean, your brushes and stuff if you're going to use them, because you can. Oh, hang on, before I forget, a bit of packing foam. It's quite a fine one. I don't go too mad with this. And we'll show you what we're doing this. So this is a sponge chipping technique we're going to do. There are other techniques. There's soap chipping, hairspray chipping, and obviously you can paint your chipping on by brush, which is probably do a bit of that where in areas that you can't really get into. So I'll gather as we go. I'm going to try and do a couple bits, keep it filming but forward it so it's a little bit quicker up to the next bit, and then jump back in when there's somewhere where we need to discuss, where I think we probably need to do a bit heavier chipping or a bit lighter, and the reason why I think, and you know, think we'll go like that and see how it goes. Hopefully it won't be such a long video today. So right, let's get busy. Right, as you can see, I started mixing the paint. I've mixed some in already because I'm trying to save a little bit of time for it. So I think this is probably going to be about what we want. I don't want it to be too light. I don't want it to be too, it's, you want to be able to notice the difference quite well. I still think that's a little bit dark still. So I'm just going to iron that in there. Maybe put a little drop on there because we'll chip around that anyway. And I can't really see much difference. Definitely a lot. This will dry a little bit lighter when you when it dries anyway. So let's get rid of that and that because I'm bound to put my hands in it like I normally do. Right. So I think to start, we'll start on the bumper because it's one of those places that they do get quite well chipped up anyway, and it means that also if you haven't done this for a little while, it does help you to sort of get your mojo back a little bit. If you like I say, I've been working on 1/16 kits more than I have 1/35. So sort of, you've just got to be a bit more delicate with this. So pulled off a little bit of sponge. I've stuck them on a pair of those lockable tweezers. Look, you can put them in a brush. I've got an old brush that was broke, and I've pushed a little wad full into that to use, which is, it works. Yeah, it works. Right, so we're going to start bringing some on your thing, dab it off on your, because you don't want to overload your thingies, your sponge. You'll just end up with blotches everywhere. Now, yeah, we've got decals on here. You've got to remember with decals, they, especially on the front, you can just see this. They got chipped quite well, and like if you look where they're here, you can see there's a cable up for the winch. And this area, in all fairness, will get chipped up a fair bit. Now, with this green, we are gonna go. You'll think, oh my god, it's loads. We'll probably go a little bit heavier than we would normally, because we are going over the back of over the top of it with another colour. And we're trying to get, it'll be like a 3D effect. So this, yeah, try not to. And if you're getting it on your decal, at this point, I wouldn't worry. They were chipped and bashed and all sorts anyway, and missing. And so can you see that slightly? Yeah, that different green. That will dry back differently, but when we come across with our other paint, so we're going to chip up around right here, right here. Now this area, I think add water bottles and jerry cans in, and got a lot of use pulling them out in and out. So that would have got a fair bit of chipping. Same with the top of the bumper. Look. So we'll go across so you can see winch area. Things like this got a lot of beating. Especially these hooks. They actually, in fairness, if you look at lorries in general, you know, even commercial lorries, and look at the amount of wear and tear that's actually on a newish lorry, you'll be quite surprised. Some of them are generally minging, absolutely minging. Take a look at the wheels and things. Right, so that's probably what I'm going to do for now. I don't want to duff it up too much. So I'm going to. Right, so around here, we're looking at mainly around these areas. I will, because that does get quite beat up. And at the end of the day, if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. Obviously, we'll be going back over the tyres and that anyway, so. Fuel tank area. See what I mean? Too much paint. So this area has got these fuel tanks got filthy and beat up stone chips, and especially around here, the caps done up, undone, and try move your sponge around, otherwise you end up with the same sort of chips everywhere. So go around. I will cover that in a minute anyway. I do find that sometimes with this, you're better off having one of these, letting it dry out a bit, and when it makes it a little bit stiffer. And I'm not going to be as gentle as I can. I don't want to overdo, because not all this is going to have the second colour, so it will be just made to look. It'll make a variation of it. Around the top rail maybe. I did decide. I couldn't decide how much I wanted to weather this when I weather it. I'm not big into covering it with loads of mud and stuff. A lot of people do, and yeah, they do get like that. But they also don't. They just get, some of them get dusty. These vehicles were maintained, so although they did get like really filthy and minging, but they were actually maintained as well. You couldn't run an army on logistics without maintaining your vehicle. So but then at the end of the day, it's up to people, up to you. It's your model. If you want to cover all this area in loads of muck, then you go ahead. So I'm just going to get on and right, it's back. Yeah, see, that's what you get when you're trying to gabber and film and but in all fairness, this kit itself, look at that, look. See, that happens to all of us. That's what you want. Is not you want on, pick up. You want that, not that. Have you noticed the difference in wheel there? Right, somebody forgot to paint the wheel. I won't mention any names. They will be a bit dustier, so it won't be too bad. It's funny because when I put them all on the thing, I counted how many I had. Not that's it, I've got them all. And then I painted them all, and I thought, oh, hang on a minute, I've got something missing. Yeah, just go around slow. It's better not do enough and then go back round and then add a bit more. You wouldn't really get that, you're not really going to see that because the cargo bay area goes on that. But like you see, a little bit of paint can go a long way. Now, we're using tamiya paint. It does dry up quite quick. See, I think this sponge is a little bit too soft. It's sort of like all or nothing. See if I can get it a little bit slimmer. Do I get covered in paint? There you go. That might be a bit better. And don't be afraid to pull bits off if you want to. That's a little bit better. That bit. Right. Forget my front grille. So I'm just going to go around top edge of this a little bit. Go too mad with it. You look on the things, the box arts of this, and they've got bags and that's tied all over it, and so they did get used in different ways, and paint would have rubbed off. There you go. I think that's all I'm doing on that one. Right. So I'm just going to do some of that. Luckily I made it, when I made it, I made sure I could remove certain parts because that would really be a pain to get to. So I'm just going to look at the bottom edge where your knees probably would have caught. So I mean, it's not, if you look, it's really not that noticeable. It's probably all I'm going to do in there for a minute. Alright, so let's look at this quickly. So obviously these areas will get a lot of wear around here where the crew gets in and out, a little bit on the bonnet, edges of the arches, down through here the floor panel where your feet are going, and definitely up around here because this is for the 50 cal there. Look, it moves all the way around that. So and then you've got somebody probably leaning against all the time, so there wouldn't be a lot of paint probably left on that top piece there. So we'll do that. Get some paint going. I'm going to probably go a little bit heavier down here because I want to. Probably wouldn't. So right here. Definitely up there. Section a bit. Trying not to get great big splocks of You find that you're getting problems getting in to places like I'm about to. We'll lose some of this in a bit. Take a second and just change your sponge a little bit so you can get in without too much messing around. That's down through that where the jerry can will be, because a bit more around here. It doesn't. It's quite a delicate touch really with this on these places, because it's pretty easy to just put too much in, like I'm doing there. Look, to be honest, I'll probably do with a better sponge. So I'm presuming you get a bit of wear here where somebody leans against it and stuff. So. Right, just going to start on that bit. Now, this I do want a fair bit on. Around the ammo can, because that will get used. Around there. To the edges as well. Yeah. Right. You can see I just add a little bit of water to my brush then, because it does get a bit thick every so often, and if you want to use a brush to get into some places, which is always, it's a good idea, if you can't always get in, just add it. You don't want the paint to be too thick. It's, you're trying to, if it's too thick, you'll just end up with a round blotch of paint where you don't want it. You thin it out a little bit, so you've got a bit of control with the paint. Like you can see there, look. So if I do the same there, look, just touch the side of me, brush against the edge, and then you get a nice, little bit more control. Like if you want to put a scrape line in, then you can. So I'm just going to do that. I don't go too mad on the arches because obviously they weren't that worn. Well, I don't think they were, so I'm just going to add a few little marks. And you can go over your decals and scrape here and there if you want. So you probably get a bit of wear here where they've had the bonnets open up and down for maintenance and stuff. So I'll go back to me spongy for that. Just hang on a little bit. That sponge is really soft. Let's see. Another sponge. This is one like I was saying, it's dried off a little bit. We'll get some paint on it. See if that helps. That's it. A bit better, isn't it? I want to get just the edges if I can. So you can get different effects with obviously different things. Yeah, don't be afraid not to try. Yeah, not to try something, because sometimes a mistake of some sort can lead to a different way of doing stuff. Like, oh, I've done it a few times. I've learned a different way of doing it by just making a mistake or something. I would say the front, like any vehicle, gets a lot of stone chips, so now for the dreaded bit, try and get into that floor. Well, not get covered in paint at the same time. I want dodgy fingerprints everywhere, don't we? A lot of people wear gloves when doing this. No reason I don't is not because I disagree with it, I just find them uncomfortable. Notice I'm trying to get a fair bit into here. So I you couldn't see that, could you? I do apologise. There's a fair bit. It looks a mess at the moment, but I got, by the time I add the darker rust, well, we should lose a lot of that. Carry on. Let that go. That's probably enough for that one. So obviously, main area of wear on here is going to be across here where there's, yeah, it's open and close the time. People climbing through across these bars, because they will wear out. Probably a bottom place there with stones around these edges where people would stand in and hold on to them, and definitely around the seats, which would be not the top two. So the seat would be, depending if you've got your seats up and down on this kit, so these two are constant, and that there down would be your seat. So that might be a bit of a mask up job to try and get into having a line, because it would be a different chip area, wouldn't it? So we'll add plenty of chips on that, because I want that quite worn. Same with there. All fair, there probably wouldn't be much paint left on those areas. Around the edges, especially up around there. Right. I'll be quiet and get on. Oh, hang on, before I do that though, remember that in reality that would be down if you're getting in and out. So this, so I don't know if you can see, so this area here would have a fair bit of chipping and scuff marks. It's up to you whether you do that in this one, because if you've got stowage and stuff going in there and it's full, then obviously, you know, there's no point. But it would be a good thing if you have this to try it, because it wouldn't matter if you mess up a bit, because you wouldn't see it anyway. These edges would get a bit. Right, so that was our first round of chipping with the lighter green. So now, and just for show, you can see, obviously you can see that it's dried back. You can quite noticeable really the colours. Can you see the chipping? Light's not so good today, but yeah. Same with here, you can see it there, look, around the sides, yeah, in there. Obviously wheels, bumper. So I go move that slightly, see if we can get a better light. It's a bit, for some reason light's not so good today. Yeah, you can see it. You can only not very well, but what's going on? Yeah, that wind out there. This one. So fuel tank. You can see the light on it and the wheels. So next round of chipping will be a darker, like a reddish, real dark reddish brown. Actually looks more like a dark chocolate, to be quite honest. So for that we use, there's a couple of things you can use. AK do a chipping medium or fluid or paint, which is basically the colour we're sort of going for. But it's really the chip. It's, if you look at old chip metal, it's normally quite dark. It's not rusty as such. It's quite a darkish colour. So we're going to go for a red brown mixed with old pot, NATO black, which I think is XF49. I can't see. So I'll spread it off a bit. It's an old pot, but you can get away with a black. It's so red brown and obviously an old black. Mix those two. There's no point me trying to show you the ratios. It's what you think is right when you do it. So I'm going for that sort of colour. So it's quite a darkish. It's not black. It's not brown. It's a very dark looking brown, basically, with a little bit of red in it. When you go over with your washes and that, some of these areas you'll go over with like a rusty tone, which affects it again. So you until I show you, it's hard to say really. But it will change the tone of that black for you. So back to your cloth, your pot, fresh sponge. Now this sponge is a packing sponge. It's quite soft. You possibly, if you can find one a little bit coarser than that, a little bit stiffer, you'd probably be better off. I think this one's a little bit soft, so you can see there, it almost looks black. So we'll start with there again, sort of there, and you'll see we won't go obviously as mad as we did with the other colour. We want to try and keep some of that. Can you see? You can just see what I mean. We're not trying to take out everything we've just done. This is like an add to it, and obviously this is where that winch is, so we want a bit more around these areas because we would have got a lot of wear. not that much wear, but it's like I say on the video, you get the mistakes as well. It is I'm finding the sponge is really soft. You've got to be, when doing this, you've got to be pretty gentle. But you'll see it all starts coming in together in them. Keep turning your sponge so you're not ending up with the same patterns everywhere. You can go over your decals like I said before. If you can see that now. The light is bloody awful. There you are, you can see that now, can't you? See what I mean? It changes it completely. So when you do it, you think, oh my, it looks terrible. It just keep with it. Bit of patience. And just don't panic. And at the end of the day, like I say, if you don't get it wrong, you don't actually learn. And when you do get it wrong, you learn how to get over it. So it's all part and parcel of it, really, isn't it? I've made, over the years, probably millions of mistakes doing stuff. And like I say, you know, some I've come up with. It's made me come up with better ways of doing things. Some it hasn't, but I've learned not to do it again. And like I say, it is a way of learning. Some of the I've been building these things for, I don't know, far too many years. And like I say, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'd rather make a mistake and learn by it. That's really one of the reasons we're doing this truck. And it's not an overly complicated vehicle. The build itself is really good. It's quite a good build actually. Good fun. If you don't mind doing wheels, it's fine. Yeah, we've all got bits we don't like doing. Me, it's generally oh, I hate doing wheels. Absolutely hate doing wheels. Hate painting them. So as you see, I've been quite careful with it. I don't want to overdo areas, and I don't want to underdo areas. Yeah, remember, like some places you're not going to see after you've done this. But where you've been with the green, your light green earlier, is a bit of a map to where you want to go anyway, because you're following what you've done. You're trying to cover what you've done, and it doesn't have to be exactly on it. You're trying to get the patch where paint chips or goes right through. And if you look at it, it's all not one colour, it's all different colours. It's all patches of paint where it's chipped, and it goes like that. You just, the more random it is, should I say, the better it is for you. You just got to think really of where you would probably get more wear and tear on something, where, and you know, because some places it wouldn't chip at all. You know, it would be in one of those areas where it would probably never ever get touched. I'll do it there, I don't need to. around top edges of that, because that would get chipped really well. You'd have feet on there and all sorts. That's that bit. This is we're back to that bit where I made that nice mistake. Look. And I've done it twice and 3 times now. Look. God, what is it with that bit? I'm determined to naff that bit up. I'm going to try my best to naff it up now. Apparently. It is one of those areas. It's just for some reason my sponge does not like it at all. You see? There's something going on with the light here today. I don't know what's going on. So the jerry can, you see I'm putting a fair bit on. I'm just going to get a bit of a rustier coat when I do an oil wash on it, because I want it to look a little bit more beaten up. So back to the brush here, look, because it is not an easy area to get into, not with a sponge anyway. I'm just gonna, no, I'm not painting this, I am trying to just jab it on, if you know what I mean. So if you can see that now. See? So that'll get in all quite a rusty coat. Now I just want to go up, there's a line here that I want to go up with. I'm going to use a brush for that. If I want to work. Brush isn't playing up, so to speak. Back to the sponge. It's definitely a bit soft for this. There you go. Carry on. About that bit there. I might have to just try and do this off camera, but so I'm just gonna, that's better. I can see what I'm doing now. Let that dry a little bit, then I'll show you. Getting out. So I might have to go around this area here with a brown rather than the dark chipping, because it's like I say, it's wood. But this sponge is really doing my bonds in a bit. It's the only sponge I've got at the moment. Oh. Yeah, but whenever you get any packages or anything, just save if you can, if it's got foam packing, save the foam if you can, or if you remember. That's the normal one, because I never remember these things. So I think I've covered all the chipping for the metal areas. Got a little bit of brown to chip. Now I'm not worrying about inside here too much because I'm not sure what I want to do with it yet, whether I'm going to fill it with stuff or not. So I'm going to do possibly a little bit of wood chipping on the wooden bits, but I'm not going to go too mad with that, I don't think. So back in a second. So a bit of wood deck tan, which is XF78. I'm going to try a bit of that around the wooden areas. I'm not taking it out of the bottom, I'm just going to take it out of the lid because we don't need loads of this, I don't think. We're just gonna, you can see, gently just do some of these wooden areas from it. It's funny because if you look at wood that's been painted and chipped, it goes really quite goes a grey colour. It's not always just brown, so I'm going to be as gentle as I can. Just chip them up a little bit. That probably wouldn't be that chipped. One of those dodgy mistakes. Happens. Same around here. Get away from splotches if I can. Sometimes you can get in there and put it back a bit where we'd probably get a bit more. So if I do fill this up, it's going to be around this area and have some of the back open, so I'm not going to go too mad. And like you say, you've got a nice grain effect on here. And in all fairness, when you paint it, if you dry brush with like a wood colour as well, you'll probably get quite a nice effect. So that's probably about it for the wood colour, I think. I'm not going to push me luck too much. Right. So I've gone over it, got a few wood chips around it in a few places, gone over a couple little areas again I wasn't happy with. Don't be afraid to dig out your brush, thin brush, and then go through a few little areas. So I did do this off camera because it's probably a bit hard to hold it up and paint it. You can just see the chips in there now. So we're ready to gloss coat this, seal it all in, ready for oil washes and things like that. So that I'll give you a quick zoom around with the camera just to show you what it looks like at the moment. Bear with me. I've just got to get I think they call them a lazy Susans to put it on for you. Hang on. So with the chip in, a little bit of a better view for you. This will go back a little bit when we get to oil washes and around. So some areas like around here we'll put a bit more of a rusty wash on there, and that will tie that all back in, and you'll see that properly then. Our jerry can's nicely beat up, look. That'll be another oily wash. Yeah, once you give it a wash and a dry brush in a few places, look. There's those two dodgy bits and lights a bit better. Yeah, see. So don't be afraid to chip over your decals, because they will get scratched in real life anyway, wouldn't they? So yeah, so we're ready for, like I say, a gloss coat, oil washes, tidy up the tyres, a bit of detail baiting. So that will all be on the next video, I think. Please like, subscribe, and comment. You know, if there's something you want to see, or something you wanted to say a bit better about, then comment, and I'll try and cover it. If you think there's something I could have done better, then comment. It's either way, it's for everybody. So, all right, have a good week. Bye.